Loneliness is described as the feeling of isolation when a person longs for other human connection. It often leads to increases in depression and anxiety and overall affects mental health. Due to lockdown, social media, and lack of romantic relationships, Gen Z has now become the loneliest generation. My name's Dakota, welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to be diving into why Gen Z is so affected by this loneliness epidemic. The elephant in the room about Gen Z's loneliness was the lockdown. Formative social years such as high school and college were lost due to the pandemic. This caused these kids to look for social interaction through the screen more than ever, and these social interactions are not as meaningful as in person. When speaking to someone in person, there are lots of cues that cannot be expressed through technology. Microexpressions, tone of voice, and just face-to-face interaction builds relationships so much more effectively than through text or even video call. Gen Z was devoid of most of their human interaction for up to 2 years because of online school and working from home. And most of their interactions outside of the house were obscured by masks, decreasing the effectiveness of seeing people in person and therefore still making them feel lonely. I, like many of you, have experienced this. I've never been very good at keeping in contact with people to begin with. I usually don't text people unless I have something important to say, so if I'm not seeing them all the time, I usually just don't talk to them at all. I know it's my own fault for being kind of bad at keeping in touch, but when I was doing online school, I really didn't talk to anybody, and my mental health had never been worse. My mind was functioning so differently than I was used to. I always considered myself pretty laid back, but whenever something bad happened, I felt like I was going to explode by either crying or breaking something. And between those moments of high stress, I really didn't feel anything at all. I was numb and just going through the motions, and the only thing that snapped me out of it was going back to school. I didn't even like school. But when I sat in chemistry class at 7:30 on that first day, for the first time since March 2020, I actually felt normal. I don't know if it was my teachers or me doing really well in classes or just seeing my friends all the time, but being at school changed the whole way I was feeling before, because for the first time in a long time, I felt something. Even before the lockdown, reports of Gen Z being lonely were made. They had higher rates of depression, anxiety, and other mental health issues, and most of that was attributed to their use of social media. Social media was great in theory. It was a way for people to keep up with each other when they don't often meet, but today, it's replacing actual social interaction. There's also been the destruction of third places. Third places are places outside of work or school that foster social interaction. But today, social media has replaced that third place. When my parents were teenagers, they were always going to the park, the roller rink, the mall, and just hanging out with friends. Now, there's really no place to do that. Granted, I come from a pretty small town, but a lot of times my friends and I would hang out at like Walmart or Dairy Queen. And we'd have to be in the parking lot because we wouldn't want to bother people in the actual store. But one thing we actually used to do every once in a while was we'd go midnight bowling. Basically, the local bowling alley would put on disco lights and a bunch of music, and you would bowl from about 12 to 1 o'clock in the morning. And it was a lot of fun, and it was very popular. So why these third spaces don't exist anymore, I really have no idea. There have been multiple studies about how people that use more social media have more mental health problems, but there hasn't been any proven theory as to why that is. In my own opinion, there's a multitude of reasons. One, as I've talked about in other videos, is comparison. People compare themselves to others, making them insecure about their looks, the amount of money they have, or just their lives and experiences in general. Olivia Rodrigo's song Jealousy, Jealousy explains this perfectly. The whole song is exactly what I'm saying, but I especially want to highlight the lyrics. I want to be you so bad and I don't even know you. All I see is what I should be, happier, prettier, jealousy, jealousy. Gen Z relates to this so much because all we do is sit on social media and compare ourselves to other people, and we have no idea what's actually going on in their lives. This yearning to have everything makes us dissatisfied and ungrateful for what we actually have. Aside from comparisons, Gen Z finds a lot of their entertainment by consuming online content. We're all just big iPad kids. Getting lost in the TikTok vortex or endless amounts of consumable media basically turns us into zombies. We crave an escape from our lives, and social media creates a hit of dopamine for every video we watch. Our brains then associate screen time with happiness, creating an addiction and making us feel more deprived without it. And with increased screen time comes increased isolation. Gen Z has had less romantic involvement than any other generations before. The amount of people in their 20s that have never had a serious relationship or any romantic interaction at all is steadily increasing. The main reason is that romantic relationships just seem to mean less today. Situationships are more common than dating, and hookup culture is very prevalent. Gen Z's insistence for instant gratification means that situationships and hookups are much easier to maintain than a real relationship. And the people that don't want to participate in these situationships and hookups tend to not have any romantic involvement at all. Cheating is also not only very normalized, but much more available due to the use of technology. And you can't have a meaningful relationship and be getting busy with other people at the same time. I know it's not just me, but I think the most attractive guy I've ever seen could ask me out on a date and I'd be like, go home. Like, I want a boyfriend, but I don't want to go through the process of getting one. It's scary and uncertain and embarrassing, and I really just don't want to do it. Yet another case of wanting instant gratification, but a lot of Gen Z thinks just like me. The Gen Z loneliness epidemic is just going to continue to get worse unless people wake up to why this is actually happening. My biggest advice is to reach out to friends, try to make new ones, and just try to get out there. Take it one step at a time. Say hello to the person you sit next to in class, compliment a coworker, or even just smiling at strangers can help decrease feelings of loneliness. I know it's embarrassing and awkward, but I promise you're not being a bother by doing these things. That's all I have for today, guys. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a great rest of your day.